Hello, this is a high vibe energy forecast for May. And the feeling right off the bat is that we've just come out of a more heavyish kind of ending of April, where it felt a bit more intense and things felt like they were abrupting within you. And that feeling of this sort of eruption that is internal was kind of not quite reaching full volcanic proportions, so to speak. But as I say that now, I feel like that is going to be coming up towards the end of this month or more like in June, when we have some eclipse action happening. But in terms of any internal sense of eruption, from end April, early May, there's this feeling of it not quite being finalized, that thoughts have been coming up to the surface and you've been feeling them, you know them. Perhaps you can't quite grasp them or feel like you can get a sense of total cleansing or finalization. There's definitely a sense of wanting to renew your life, of wanting to rid of the clutter. And when I say that word, I don't use it uniformly. I really mean it in all aspects of your life. So mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, there's so much clutter and energetically that we can accumulate, so to speak. And so the image I receive is of dust, wiping off the dust. And it's almost, and actually as I receive that image also, I'm also getting the impression of that saying when you fall over and then wipe the dust off and keep going, right? So it's both. So they're saying, don't worry about former actions or former misactions or non-actions. The lesson is being learnt or being achieved, and it's from what you do from here. There's a lot of emotional energy with this as well. It's what you do from this time forth, what you have learned, how you now change or administer little offshoots of change, even if that's small actions that are leading towards a new way, a new goal, or a new way of dealing with things, or how you would like things to be. That is the way to go, that is what is happening. So it's like these small seeds are sprouting and the light is shining like a torch, and just to keep following that along. You could interpret this in so many different ways. For each person, it will be a different thing, or several. However, for example, it could just be something like a goal, and for another person, it might be a relationship that you've had issues with in the past and you don't know how to deal with it, and you feel like emotions are coming up. And that's that feeling of almost erupting but unresolved. And so small actions that you can take towards change, like if you don't know how to go about things, will create a doorway, an opening, so to speak, and you are to follow that doorway opening into the light that has been provided for you. For some people, it won't feel like it's a linear tunnel of light that is straight. It would rather feel like it's wiggly woggly, like it's a labyrinth maze of a tunnel, a mother of a tunnel, let's just say. But know that there is light on the other side. You're guided towards it each step of the way. There are just some twists and turns on the way. And as I say those words now, I'm reminded of the energy of 2021 numerologically, which is of twists and turns and change and unexpected surprises and sort of a shake-up and an upheaval and all these kinds of things, right? But it doesn't need to be that crazy. It's just what I'm feeling is, although you might be feeling a bit crazy at times, there has been a sort of heightened sense of sensitivity as well. For some, you will be feeling that, like you can cry on the brink of a hat and all those things coming up, right? And I'm being shown an image now of like fragile glass. There's also a feeling of disappointment and letdowns I'm feeling now, and for some people betrayal. So there's some side issues going on for some people there, and it can be about relationships or about the world. But I want to bring up an image that was given to me previously. I was actually talking for a whole 5 minutes, but the recording stopped and I didn't know. So the images I was receiving were of some games or TV shows where it was like this repeated idea. So one of them was a Seinfeld episode where George went back to a takeaway shop that he used to go to as a kid, and he saw a video machine where he used to play arcade games, and his top score was still there, so he was all excited that his top score was there. Anyway, then they tried to move this machine across a road, and the road became all this like a game. So it was a bit of a comedy where he's trying to cross the road, and you hear that kind of arcade music, and it's all crazy, right, with lots of cars, just like other app games where you try to cross a road. And cars are going everywhere, but you have to sort of find your way and dodge traffic and then stop in the median strip and then find your way again to get to the other side. So with that also, I'm receiving an image of the eye of a storm, where in the middle of the eye, it's like a middle point, 0 point, where everything is absolutely clear and you see the truth. You get a grasp of it, and then the wool's pulled from under you and it's taken away. Or there's some sense of illusion. So you see there's moments of truth and then it's covered up, or there's illusion, or you're back to normal again. Like they're showing me like a near-death experience where someone would go up to heaven, see everything, understand, know everything of this amazing experience, and then boom, they're back in the hospital bed, back on earth, and it's been taken away from them. So this idea of the eye and the hurricane in terms of the eclipse season, I'm just seeing some big truths being revealed there. Ghislaine Maxwell is actually coming up to me, so there might be something connected to those kinds of, so that case, Epstein, or anything connected to that, to do with that whole topic area, with trafficking and abuse and that kind of thing, especially with the children. There's so much more about those stories that needs to be known. Interestingly, I'll just mention it briefly now since I'm on that topic. I haven't talked about this sort of thing for a while, but I listened to somebody who knew that in the temple on Epstein's Island, there was now this is a few months ago. So I listened to it, and he said that there was and when he said these words, I absolutely had a full-on emotional, psychic reaction, empathic reaction, where I know that this is factual, because my reaction was like a panic attack. Now I'm just sitting in my I was sitting in my lounge, on a typical day, listening to stuff, but when I heard these two words, I knew this was a thing. So the two words that he said were birthing station, and I knew exactly what that meant, meaning, how should I put this? This is a little bit tender of a topic. It's still difficult to say. So let's just put it this way, where females, especially young females, would give birth in a very not nice way, under a not nice kind of trafficking situation. I'll just put it that way. There's actually much more involved, but yeah, I had such a severe reaction. I was really surprised. I don't recall ever having such a severe reaction before to information that out of the blue, out of nowhere. I have had the odd panic attack before that was connected to something else, like someone having a heart attack close by my home, but nothing like this before. Anyway, so moving on from that, I was not expecting to talk about that. So there's this idea of speaking your truth. And when I say that, I feel everything clenched, because you're perhaps not speaking your truth, or it's 80-20, or your percentage is out. So what is it that you are holding within yourself that you are not revealing, that you are not confident or courageous or brave enough to face or deal with. And this is where communication issues come up. So how or who is coming up for you where communication is squelched? And so it's important to really feel like you can be open and have open and clear communication and be an open, clear vessel. This is not necessarily happening in certain situations. So think about what those situations or people are and what that brings up for you and what needs to be addressed. So think of that as a personal project in the next while. Speaking of Mercury, I really felt like Mercury was a thing, so I just quickly looked up some astrology. And yes, we will be moving into Mercury in retrograde at end month around May 30. So as you might be fully aware, that happens for about 3 weeks, so that will be impacted in June, but also 2 weeks previous and 2 weeks after. So mid-May to end May, there's this shadow period where communications might start to go awry. So that whole idea of communication is a thing, because I feel now as I say that, like my throat feels dry and coarse and clenched, like I'm holding on to something. And also it feels like holding on to opinions. Like you don't feel like you can express yourself or say what you want to say in a way that is fully respected. And I feel quite emotional with this. Like it's sensitive. It's different for different people, right? But you'll each have your own thing. So it's not being heard, and also feeling not answered. There's also this feeling on that like and something's not being finalized or something's not quite there yet. So in late May towards June, it's okay, what do I need to address? What do I need to look at? What truths are coming up that are eye-opening for me? Again, it's that feeling of, that I mentioned earlier, the eye of the hurricane, and now they're saying eye-opening, opening your eyes. This is an aspect of awakening, right? Because when you are awake, your eyes are open, and when you are asleep, they are closed. And so metaphorically, it's opening your eyes. Spiritually, opening up your spiritual eye to see. So there's this feeling of that sometimes we go through these periods where there's higher energy and these shifts happening. And I do feel that there are some energetic upgrades, but it feels like wiggly woggly. It feels like it's in and out. And that, again, it's that feeling again like that labyrinth or moving between the traffic, right? That I mentioned earlier. So we're working towards a new way of being, but we're very much integrating, because the words I'm hearing is it's new territory that we're not used to. It's for us personally, but also as a collective and what's happening in the world. Obviously, everything is new territory, but there's also that greater landscape of uncertainty and non-finalization. A lot of loose ends, a lot of things hanging in the air. So initially, I was just talking about people personally, but now it's coming up also as a collective field thing. And just remember, you are connected to the collective energy of the world. All of us together, our energy is all like one soup. Think of it as one cloud in the sky that is everybody. And then under that umbrella of that one cloud or one sky, there are little droplets of each person. So we're all under the thumb and the impression of the same thing and the systems, in our world. And so anything that feels oppressive will be grumbling within you at the moment. That's what I feel. Perhaps not now, but coming up this month and towards June. So there is a need to clear your energy and to ground. It's quite a earthy sort of month, so being out in nature is so vital to restore your energy. And I'm also getting the sense of clear your mind and clear the sort of craziness and the toxins as well. That's how it feels. And I'm also receiving it will improve your discourse with others. So as you walk, as you be in nature, as you hear the sounds of birds and all those kinds of things, there's a kind of celestial cleansing effect, and you recharge and restore your mind, which is vital. There might also be a sense of a lack of confidence where you feel like you're not where you want to be or feel that you need to be or should have been by now already, and all those kinds of feelings. But the core message within everything is you're exactly where you need to be. Your soul, your higher awareness knows this. It is your lower awareness, your sort of human little self that questions it and feels sort of lost in the world at times. So know that you are exactly where you need to be and rediscover that true essence. Allow the truth that comes up and sparks up this month and in June also to nurture you, to guide your way like a star, like a light in the dark, and take the best care of yourself. Okay, that's it for this month. Bye everyone. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for staying in tune, and I'll talk again soon.